tonight. Despite a back and forth over the last 24 hours, voters in Wisconsin are at the polls today in the midst of a health pandemic.
Plus, staying at home is keeping people safe. That's what Minnesota's governor is saying as a new number shows a slow in COVID-19 cases.
And isolation and social distancing are helping with COVID-19, but experts say this is an especially difficult time for those in addiction recovery.
From CBS3 Duluth, this is the CBS3 News at 6.
Good evening, I'm Kristen Bakke.
And I'm Anthony Matt. Thanks for joining us. A confusing 24-hour sequence for voters in Wisconsin as they saw their elections go from proceeding as normal to postpone to back on, all over the span of a few hours.
Yeah, after that back and forth, voters hit the polls in droves all around the state today for not only the presidential primary, but to elect a justice to serve on the state Supreme Court and local elections as well.
Here's a timeline of how we got to this point. Governor Tony Evers' stay-at-home order went into effect on March 25th, but he said the election would go on anyway. Since then, city leaders all around the state have scrambled to consolidate polling locations and find staff for those polls. On March 27th, Evers urged the state to send absentee ballots to all registered voters. Then, on April 3rd, Evers called a special session proposing to move the election date. Lawmakers gavelled into that session but did not take any actions. Then, just before 1 Monday afternoon, Evers announced he was moving the election to June 9th via an executive order. State Republicans immediately challenged that. 4 hours later, the state Supreme Court overruled Evers, saying the election would go on today as planned.
Here's a look at what voting looks like in many parts of the state today. At Milwaukee's Riverside High School, people lined up before the polls opened at 7 a.m. And throughout the day, lines stretched around the school filled with people standing several feet apart and wearing masks. And east of the Twin Cities in New Richmond, Wisconsin, a drive-through polling area was set up and voters cast their ballots from their vehicles. Poll officials said this is for the health and safety of voters and election staff due to the coronavirus pandemic.
Closer to home, Superior Mayor Jim Payne says he's not thrilled the election is being held today, but he added that it is state law, so he's doing everything he can to keep Superior voters safe. Payne says all of the city's regular polling places are open today, besides the Salvation Army location, and they will all stay open until 8 o'clock tonight as usual. But those locations are also offering curbside voting options. Payne says anyone headed to the polls should consider coming during the day when it's usually slower, wearing a mask and bringing your own pen. You also might need to have your ID, and you might need to pull down your mask for identification purposes. Election workers will also be wearing masks and gloves. Payne says because the state legislature is the only authority with the power to move an election date, they expected this election to be held today all along, so they've been planning for this for weeks.
I can confidently say that every possible precaution has been taken, and that's because of the outstanding planning that has come out of our clerk's office and the hard work of pretty much everybody participating, working this election.
Well, Payne agrees with the governor that the election should have been moved. He also pointed out that would have been concerning for the Douglas County Board seats and Superior School Board seats that were set to expire soon.
CBS 3's Emma Quinn joins us live now from outside the Government Services Center in Superior, which was used as a polling place today. Emma, what were you hearing from voters?
So, Kristen, I was here for a couple of hours this morning, and a lot of the voters I talked to were not happy with the Supreme Court's decision to hold the primaries today. A lot of them told me this gave them a lot of anxiety.
A typical primary day in Douglas County would have many voters coming out to the polls to vote in person. But that was not the case this morning.
Well, it was kind of like walking into a desert scene. There wasn't very many people here at the time.
A deserted scene, as some expected, after Wisconsin Supreme Court denied Governor Tony Evers' plan to postpone the primaries until June. Voters like Betty Bakovich aren't happy with that decision.
I have a high-risk child. So I haven't left my house, and I hated being in the position between deciding, do I vote or do I keep my child safe? I kind of felt like I had to make that decision.
Deciding to vote or stay home was creating anxiety for some.
It's legit. I mean, you know, there's a reason for having fear.
That really frustrated me, made me upset, because it's like our governor said, we shouldn't have to decide between health and safety and our life and voting. It shouldn't come to that.
Those in Douglas County were given the option of curbside voting, and other efforts were made to keep distance inside the polls. Voters say in a time like the COVID-19 pandemic, it's appreciated.
I voted since I was 18, and I didn't want to lose that, and that at least they did give me this opportunity that I didn't have to go in. I had a choice, because if I had to go in, I probably wouldn't have voted. Okay. It just would have been too much of a risk for me.
Now, many of the voters I saw today were wearing masks and gloves and keeping their distance from each other. And inside the polls, after everyone got finished using a poll, they were wiped down to prevent the spread, prevent any spread of any germs.
Yeah, definitely,
back to you, Kristen, Tony.
Yeah, Emma, definitely a unique voting experience for many who were there today. Thank you, Emma.
Meanwhile, Governor Tony Evers did not hold a press conference today. Instead, he issued a statement. The Democrat wrote that although he's deeply concerned about the health implications of voting in person today, he thanked those who voted, worked the polls, and reported on this election.
A federal judge saying Wisconsin could not extend its absentee voting window. So here's the very latest surrounding your absentee ballots and if it will be counted. If your ballot was postmarked with today's date or earlier, you're good to go. But it also has to reach your local clerk's mailbox by 4 p.m. Monday. You can also drop off an absentee ballot to your local clerk by 8 o'clock tonight. If you mail out an absentee ballot after today, it will not count. If you requested an absentee ballot and did not receive it yet, you will have to cast your ballot at your polling location. You have until 8 o'clock tonight to do so.
All right, let's check in on the weather now with Dave, who will be doing the weather from home for a few weeks as we try and practice good, safe social distancing guidelines here at CBS3. Dave, how's it going out there?
Well, it's been a gorgeous day out here on my back deck, at least for much of the day. Started with rain, then a glorious period of sunshine. My little chipmunk friends from last year have arisen from their hibernation. They've already been taking peanuts from my hand, although one of them seemed to have lost half of his or her tail over the duration. Oh, well, I guess that's the price you have to pay for survival once in a while. And we're surviving this weather fairly well. Got a little bit of rain this morning, like we mentioned, and there's a little chance up north tonight that we could get a little bit more for Iron Rangers. From the range towards the Canadian border, there's a chance for a little bit of snow shower activity tonight and maybe some flurries in the morning tomorrow. Here's a live look at the Ely area. Speaking of the range, and Robinson Lake, of course, is still on the frozen side. You know, I don't think temperatures are going to help out much this week here because we're going to be entering a cooling trend. Today was probably the warmest day of the bunch. Here's a look at the day planner then for our Wednesday. When we head out the door in the morning, most of us, again, will have a partly cloudy sky. And we'll have a partly sunny one at lunchtime, partly sunny coming back home. High temps will be in the upper 40s, so I don't think a return visit to the 60s like this afternoon will come across. And again, that's the day planner for much of the area. Again, if you're an Iron Ranger and living up towards the Canadian border, it'll be very similar. But the addition, the little spice of life you folks might get will be, indeed, again tonight, a couple of snow showers, maybe through tomorrow, a couple of rain showers. Higher pressures trying to take over the region. It may not continually or successfully do so until Friday, but I think the heaviest of the rain is done right now, and it's just some spotty showers left for tonight, tomorrow, and into perhaps Thursday as well. Friday looks glorious, but the weekend perhaps not. We'll show you that whole 7-day forecast in more detail coming up in a few more minutes.
All right, we're certainly looking forward to that. Thanks, Dave. New at 6, Minnesota health leaders say new evidence is showing the state's stay-at-home order is working. The state's health commissioner says they've been watching the rates at which confirmed COVID-19 cases are doubling. She says that's a very telling statistic. In the first couple weeks of March, cases were doubling every 1 to 2 days. Since March 18th, however, that rate has slowed to cases doubling every 8 days. The commissioner says it's good news for Minnesota.
Part of slowing the spread means staying at home despite the upcoming religious holiday. While Minnesota Governor Tim Walz recognizes Easter's significance, he's asking people to stay home this Sunday and celebrate with immediate family.
On this, but I can't stress enough, I know the temptation, especially around these important holidays. We are trying to work with religious leaders to figure out ways that we can make sure that they're as meaningful as possible and that we have that sense of fellowship and worship, but without having people put in danger.
Many churches are planning special virtual services for Easter Sunday.
In Wisconsin, an Ashland manufacturing company is switching gears during the coronavirus pandemic. Normally, CG Breading Manufacturing makes machines that make paper products, but now they're using their 3D printers to make face shields for Ashland's Memorial Medical Center. They're also making plexiglass barriers. Medical staff can put their hands through them to safely examine patients. So far, CG Manufacturing has made 200 products for the hospital.
We had an employee, Randy DeMars, come forward with a YouTube that said, hey, we could make face shields on our 3D printers, which basically prints plastic is what it does. And we said, well, we'll contact the hospital and see if we can help them out.
The company plans to deliver these products to local nursing homes and other medical facilities soon. Experts say isolation, stress, and fear can all be factors bringing people struggling with addiction to relapse. CBS 3's Leanne Valdez spoke with a local addiction expert who's seen it firsthand during the COVID-19 outbreak.
The executive director of Recovery Alliance Duluth, Beth Elstad, says she's seen firsthand the impact social distancing and isolation has done during the pandemic. Lately, she and her partner have received and made anywhere from 30 to 50 calls per day, helping those who struggle with addiction. Especially during this time, she's even had to bring some to detox. Elstad says not being able to talk with clients face-to-face has been tough, but they're still offering support, whether it be virtual, social media, or telephone. Elstad says it's been hard to watch it unfold, but she is grateful to be a part of the solution.
That's our goal, is to support people through these times and to help them identify solutions and just taking it one step at a time.
A good thing to note that the services that Recovery Alliance Duluth offers are free.
All right, thanks, Leanne. Still to come on Live Local CBS 3, with summer on a lot of people's minds, the city of Superior has enacted some restrictions to its beaches. We'll tell you what they are. And Dave is in after the break with your full forecast. Stay with us.
I'm Carrie Harris, owner of Diabetic and Comfort Shoes. We have been in business in the Northland, helping you with your everyday foot problems stemming from diabetes to plantar fasciitis for the past 17 years. Stop in and see the complete line of men's and women's shoes, from SAS to Allegria to Vionic, for those millions of people battling plantar fasciitis. And we still have a great selection of comfortable shoes for diabetics, Medicare and Minnesota healthcare approved. Remember, no foot problem is too big or too small. We'll find the way to your soul.
Vaping has been declared a national epidemic among youth. 1 in 3 high schoolers vape in northeastern Minnesota.
My child started having seizures from vaping. There's still so many unknown chemicals.
One vape cartridge has as much nicotine as at least 2 packs of cigarettes.
My child was hospitalized with severe lung injuries.
They said it was no big deal.
My child said it was no risk.
That it was under control.
That's what my child said. But what could I have said? Get the facts and talk to your child today.
Our shower was like 20 years old and it was just in the worst condition. We had a new shower put in and it was acrylic and there's hardly any cleaning compared to the other one. We decided to call Bath Planet, and Wayne did contact us and he made sure that it was a good time for us.
He came here at 8 o'clock in the morning. Job was done by 4 o'clock.
I'm so glad that we chose Bath Planet.
For a free estimate, call Bath Planet today at 218-228-0435.
Years fly by. Your retirement date keeps getting closer. Rather than spending another year worrying about retirement, get a second opinion on your financial strategy. Let us answer your questions and show you how tax reduction strategies can benefit your retirement. Go to MPPLFinancial.com to download our free tax reduction checklist. Then call MPPL Financial this week for a complimentary second opinion consultation. A second opinion could be your best 2020 financial investment.
My beautiful wife Elizabeth and I had an amazing life until we unexpectedly spent all our money.
Javier and I are broken. We have to move in with you.
What? Now we're leaving with Elizabeth's sister and her amazing son.
You're the best.
I do have my moments. Yes, life is messy, but this will be the greatest experience of our lives. Or perhaps we might need jobs. Who's ready to party?
A New Broke, Thursday, 9:30, 8:30 Central on CBS.
CBS3 Weather is brought to you by St. Luke's.
Well, I feel like the vice president from 20 years ago. Here I am broadcasting from an undisclosed location and hopefully helping to keep Tony and Kristen safe from any diseases. And it's been a beautiful day to be hanging out on one's own deck here in the northern parts of Duluth. Oh, I've let it slip where I'm hiding out at here. Well, the temperatures today, not bad away from the lake, especially pushing into the 60s for some towns. Not quite as warm for others. And tomorrow, frankly, I don't think is going to be as warm. You can see my yard behind me there had about still 50% snow coverage. This week isn't going to be overly conducive to making that go away. Here's a look at the current conditions at the airport in Duluth, still on the warm side. Again, this may be the warmest day of the week. It's 58. Northwest winds going 16 miles per hour, which is a sign of higher pressure coming in, trying to displace the low that brought us the rain here this morning. And the air pressure, 29.67, is a bit on the lower side, but that's because we have one low exiting, another trying to approach, and a high trying to wedge in between the two. So the result will be at least partial sunshine and only a couple of slight shower chances over the next couple of days. Current sky conditions, well, we're looking at a sunny day in Silver Bay, 45, cooler by the lake, but 53 Grand Rapids with clouds, 63 in Solon Springs, and 58 degrees in Watersmeet. Again, it's probably going to step down a little bit tomorrow, and then come Easter Sunday, we could be dropping into the 30s for our highs for a couple of days. So spring's teasing us, but it isn't fully in force quite yet. Doppler map shows that, indeed, we had a line of showers and even thunderstorms rumble by this morning. Then in the afternoon, we got a nice break in the action with some sunshine those warm temps. But tonight, as that low pressure system continues to pass towards the east, folks in the Iron Range and up towards Crane Lake, the Canadian border, just might get a few more rain showers mixed in with a couple of flurries. But that'll try to change up a little bit tomorrow as that high pressure cell tries to wedge in between the two lows like I mentioned, and the result's going to be at least partial sunshine for most of us, though again from the range towards the Canadian border, there will be a chance for a couple of rain showers. Then on Thursday, that low to the west brings a 20% chance for rain showers to the region, giving way to more high pressure and sunshine by Friday, but I don't think it's going to last into the weekend. Tonight, here's what we get in Minnesota. Flurries up north, partly cloudy to the south, low temps from 27 to 36. And getting into Wisconsin, the low temps there will go 33 to 37 with a partly cloudy sky. For tomorrow in Wisconsin and Michigan, you're looking for a partly sunny sky with a range of high temps from 48 to 52, which isn't as warm as today, but it isn't too bad. Minnesota, tomorrow, again, showers up north, partly sunny to the south, high temps 43 in Ely to as warm as 50 down towards places like Moose Lake. And now with the extended forecast, the 6-day, the 7-day, yeah, we gave it an extra day many years ago. I remember when it was just a 5-day. That's how old I am. But bottom line is here, this forecast says we start warm and slowly descend temperature-wise, dropping into the 30s by Easter Sunday. No big storms here this week. Now, if you got any thunder this morning, that was probably about it for the week ahead. Just a couple of flurries, couple of showers. Tonight, tomorrow, Thursday, another round is possible Saturday, Sunday. Otherwise, at least partial sunshine for much of the week. So, as usual, Kristen and Tony, we live in the land of the north. We get a little warmth, we get a little cool. Don't get used to any one thing, because by the next day, it's obviously going to change.
Yep, it's always a mixed bag. All right, thanks, Dave. New tonight at 6, scientists are asking for your help to monitor and collect important data here in stream-rich Duluth. CBS3's Ryan Combo has more on how you can get involved.
Local residents are out taking walks more, observing social distancing protocols, which is why scientists need your help. A few years ago, a citizen science crowdsourcing application was set up so folks out on a walk can look at water gauges and send the measurement to researchers by text without any science skills required. The gauges look like giant rulers, and anyone with a cell phone, and it doesn't have to be a smartphone, can do it. There are 17 water depth gauges and 8 streams that feed into Lake Superior, mostly in Duluth and 1 in Superior. And there's no limit to how many people can be involved or send data. The more they say, the better.
One of the great parts about this project is that you don't have to commit to anything in advance. You don't have to sign up for a certain spot, and you don't have to go at the same time, at the same day of the week. It's really about as much data as we can possibly get. So we're happy if you're walking by the same site multiple times in a day, send in data every time.
Now coming up tonight at 10, we hear on how this could be a great way to get outdoors, enjoy the beauty of the Northland during this stay-at-home order.
Thanks, Ryan. Meanwhile, you can now only go to Superior beaches with people you live with. That order came from Superior city leaders today. It also says only Douglas County residents can visit Wisconsin Point and Superior beaches. Outdoor activities in town are still allowed as long as you practice safe social distancing. No word yet if Duluth leaders will issue a similar order.
Coming up, another Bulldog is heading out early for the pros. Kelly Hinsett is in with sports after the break.
Find your favorite CW shows on the Duluth CW, cable, satellite, over the air, and streaming on KDLH Duluth. CBS3 live cams are brought to you by Kohler Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac. You're not just getting a car, you're getting Kohler.
Coming together makes us stronger. And Ford is built to lend a hand, especially now, with 6-month payment relief. Buy a new Ford. We'll defer 3 payments and make 3 payments for peace of mind up to 6 months. Shop at Ford.com or contact your Ford dealer to find out more about home delivery and other vehicle service options. You have a lot to take care of. Let us help take care of you.
At Empire Roofing, we know this coronavirus is scary, but we also know that we are the greatest country on earth. America will prevail. Count on it. Empire Roofing is open for business. We've been deemed an essential service by the government. The integrity of your roof and your home has never been more important. Let the team at Empire Roofing inspect your roof at no charge. We'll not come inside your home or have any personal contact with you or your family. Our website is EmpireRoofingNM.com. We will get through this together.
It's time for the biggest sale of the year. It's time for the Toro Spring Sales Event. It's time to head to your local Toro dealer, where you can save up to $750 on select Toro Z-Masters, up to $600 on select Toro Time Cutters, and up to $500 on select Toro Grandstands and Titan HDs, plus special financing offers on brand new Toro equipment. Toro, count on it. For more info on great deals and financing offers, visit your local Toro dealer.
My goodness, that is a spectacular lawn.
When you see a great lawn, it's all you see. Call the experts at True Green for a custom science-based plan to make your lawn thick, green, healthy, and weed-free.
My part-time service in the Army National Guard allows me to keep my community and those I care about safe from threats. Learn more about how you too can live and serve part-time close to home by visiting nationalguard.com.
For breaking stories that impact the Northland most, turn to CBS3.
Catch Eye on Parenting every Thursday at 6 with me, Leanne Valdez, on CBS3.
Find your favorite CW shows on the Duluth CW, cable, satellite, over the air, and streaming on KDLH Duluth. Watch Anthony Matt weekdays at 6 and 10 p.m. on live local CBS3 Duluth.
Welcome back into sports. It was supposed to be the Tuesday today leading up to the Frozen Four this weekend in Detroit, where hopefully the UMD Bulldogs would have been going to defend their third straight national title. But unfortunately, as we know, their season was canceled just about a month ago, and the early departures for the pros now continue. Today, it's Hermantown native Dylan Sandberg who is officially putting pen to paper. He is officially signing with the Winnipeg Jets, opting to forego his final year of eligibility as a UMD Bulldog. The Jets announced they're signing the 21-year-old draftee to a 3-year entry-level deal with an annual value of over $1 million. Sandberg's 3-year deal will begin next season. He joins fellow Hermantown native Neil Pionk up there in Winnipeg as well. Sandberg recorded his career best season as a Bulldog this past year, collecting 21 points with 21 assists. That's the second highest on the team as a Bulldog. Sandberg has taken shifts in 109 games with 53 career points to show for it, and is now the 22nd UMD men's hockey player to depart early from Duluth to join the pros, the third this year, joining juniors Justin Richards and Scott Perunovich. And the awards for the winners for the Spencer Penrose Coach of the Year award were announced today. Unfortunately, they do not include UMD head coach Scott Sandelin. North Dakota head coach Brad Berry and Cornell head coach Mike Schaefer were chosen as co-winners of the award. It's just the second time in the award's history that there's been a tie since 1966. And in some Division II football news, UMD offensive line coach Garth Heikkinen has made the Division II football all-decade team, while Heikkinen now serves as the UMD offensive line coach from 2009 to 2012. He was a vital part of helping the Dogs to a 47-7 all-time record in his 4 years. He was also part of the 2010 national championship win. And the Major League Baseball season is still up in the air due to the coronavirus pandemic, but Major League Baseball executives are starting to consider how to salvage the season. One plan being considered is putting all 30 teams in the Phoenix, Arizona area and playing games without fans. Half the MLB clubs hold spring training in Arizona. The other half, including the Twins, are in Florida. MLB season had set to start on March 26th, but spring training was halted on March 12th. The Baseball Players Association still has to survey its members to determine whether they would support such a plan. And the NBA made some rule changes today. The league has told teams they must not conduct or attend any workouts with draft-eligible players during the league's hiatus, which is a major change from typical procedures. Teams also being prohibited from watching, requesting, or sharing any video, live or recorded, of a draft-eligible player taking part in a workout during the league shutdown. Personnel can watch footage of prospects in games or practices that took place before the league's hiatus began. And that's going to do it for sports at 6. We'll have more here back at 10. Tony and Kristen, I'll send it back to you in the studio.
All right, thanks, Kelly. Skylines of major cities across Asia were lit up by a supermoon on Tuesday night. In Beijing, Bangkok, and New Delhi, the moon was clearly visible over largely deserted streets due to measures implemented to tackle COVID-19. The orbit of the moon around the Earth is elliptical, which makes the distance between the two objects change at times. When a full moon makes its closest approach to the Earth, it looks bigger and brighter than usual, therefore making it a supermoon. The next opportunity to see a super full moon comes on May 7th. We'll see you at 10.
CBS